Hello, hello, and welcome along to episode 49 of Beldania. When we last left, the party had traversed the ways of the way of the path and eventually found themselves winding back so slowly to Lorvallen. When we got there, we discovered that perhaps not everybody was major happies at what was going on, and you seeked audience with the Duke's son and daughter twins. But we'll get a little bit more of that in a moment. For now, today I have playing with me, Jamal.
Hey guys, Jamal here, playing Kiavo Duskbane.
I have Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh. I will be playing Sebastian Belmont, the Abjuration Wizard.
I have Bruno.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, I'm playing Rosania Veselor, Circle of Stars Druid.
Did you eat her prior to the session?
In a good pairing.
I have Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe, and I'm playing Hennick Littlefield, the Halfling Farmer and Bard.
And I have Rico.
I am Rico, and I'm playing Torin Goldenbrand, the Dragonborn Paladin.
And yes, with that, I think we will return to the wonderful world of Lord Valen. A while since we've had this picture, isn't it? So just a reminder, in Lord Valen, the city is big. It is the capital of Jorston. Jorston is probably the biggest country, I suppose, if we're going to divide them up in that manner, in Beldania. The Urak state has some bigger buildings in its main city, but other than that, Lord Valen is the biggest city in Beldania, really, in terms of scale, at least, in terms of height. And in terms of number of people crammed in, there is poverty here, which you don't find in some of the bigger elven cities. There is a lot of political strife. There is a big disparity between rich and poor. And there are a lot of citizens living sort of under the line, if you like, not really able to make ends meet from day to day. And there is large amounts of shady stuff going on at various points in the district. Duke Lagon ruled with a very fair hand, and for the most part was able to at least keep, the temples of Chauntia serving the poor. I believe that at the very beginning of this campaign, we actually visited a couple of those temples of Chauntia, specifically with Natasha. She was obviously a priestess of Lathander, but the temples of Chauntia is where the poor really received their due. But as you come in from the poverty line, the outskirts of the city, you come into this vast city of well-built-up buildings, illustrious townhouses, wondrous shops. It is said in Lorvallen that you can buy almost anything that you can imagine, but nobody can buy happiness. Nobody can truly imagine being happy. As you get further into the city, you have vast temples, the collective that attempts to document every piece of history and every creature on Earth, an ambitious aim beyond imagination. You have all the different guilds interacting with each other, and sat above it all on a plinth is the Castle Lagon and the Royal Palace. The Royal Palace sits to the left, the west of the city, and the Castle Lagon sits grandly over the hall. A long time ago, the royals ruled Jorston itself. In the last century or two, their role has become more and more traditional. They are, or were, often respected for their views and asked their opinions. They were given some sway in various political decisions, but more importantly, they were in charge of making sure festivals happened. They had quite a lot of money and influence to make sure that people were treated well. The Queen especially was known for her largesse in assisting people who had come awry of bad things, as you experienced personally, helped pay for the rebuild of Andrew. Priceless praise. However, over the last few months, it would seem, since you last visited Ireland, upon your return, you found the city untrodden. Terribly sad and frustrated. It's a city that teems with anger at how they're being treated, with anger at that that's being away from them. And you believe that the source of that anger comes from the Castle Lagon. Though within the Castle Lagon, who is in charge of that source, something else discovered. You had requested a meeting, and so been granted it almost immediately, with the brother and sister themselves, Evandria and Matthias Lagon. Just to remind you, there's Evandria and Matthias. And you know, they're very posh, very well-to-do, but they meet you with sort of open arms and a smile. Welcome home. Sort of vibe you get from them. And standing to Matthias's right hand, sits upon the throne, is a mage who stands completely rigidly tall. He wears a totally face-covering black and silver mask that has no expression on it. It's an expressionless mask. Though you do see the slight hint of light coming from where his eyes should be. Cascading down his back is a long black and silver cloak, and he wears the sort of black and silver attire, much akin to what you see Matthias wearing. Kneeling next to the Duchess's chair, as her hand sort of gently plays with his hair, is somebody that you know simply as a Whistler. Dressed in his jester outfit, his complete with swaddling cloak and daggers across his whole chest and at his sides. What of a pet assassin. Besides those four, as you look around, there are two guards on the door that let you in. They stand in shining, burnished armor, neatly polished for their ceremonial duty. Though Torin, you will note that they don't hold their spears particularly competently. They are ceremonial guard more. Those of you with astute eyes will see standing in the dark shadows at the right-hand corner of the room, look across, one Steward Justin. When you left, Steward Justin was almost in charge. But as you turn, he seems to be cloaked in the shadows. He is sort of wearing a very standard court cloak, but it's sort of pinched about him as if trying to protect him from what is going on. As you enter, I will take an insight check from those people. So I think that's Hennek and Beldania. Sebastian, what's your passive insight?
12.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm all about investigation.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. I don't normally have anything beyond the top one.
Can I use guidance?
Would be ill-advised to mutter a spell right now, besides which you rolled
Okay.
one.
Okay.
But I'm sure that Henrik will be able to whisper to you quietly. As he notices that Steward Justin looks very sad. Just regretful. And he shrinks back into the shadows. Oh, hello? Am I here? Wait.
You're
Yeah.
back.
Okay, cool. My Discord just stopped and started again. As he shrinks back into the shadows, almost as if to say, I can't help you. As you sort of arrive in, there is this long runner carpet leading up to the throne. It's in black with silver embossed markings on it. Yavo and Sebastian, as you look at the carpet, you can't help but notice that the patterns seem to emulate some sort of magical rules. So deciphering them from this angle just isn't possible. You'd have to be sort of above it and able to see the whole thing. But you do note that perhaps even the carpet has some sort of magical purpose.
I would like... I would like to use one of my charges of my orb to cast a wizard spell without any verbal, somatic, or material components.
Yeah,
So
make a
they
sleight of
can't
hand check
tell.
on
Okay. That's a 17.
Okay. What are you casting?
I'd like to cast a message on the masked mage.
Okay. Well, that is who would have counterspelled you, so I think he'll let it go. Let's see.
Oh, damn, he rolls in that 20.
He did roll a nat 20 to detect any currents of arcane magic.
Yes.
And he makes a little gesture as you are in the process of casting. You're not quite sure what it was, but you do feel sort of invited, I guess, to speak.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And I'll just simply ask, Felon, is that you?
Mm.
Suspense.
Trying to decide how he. He sort of looks to you and just says, "Later."
Ooh. Cool. I'll just smile.
And no, that's. As you look to the sort of along this long runner carpet at the top, the two thrones that sit sort of almost imposingly over the top of you. They're sort of way more gaudy and over embellished than the Duke's singular throne was. These have clearly been created in the time since the Duke and Duchess came. The Duke and Duchess. And it gives this impression that they sort of stare down at you. And when you arrive in front of the thrones with the raised dais, it's as if you're on your knees, even though you are not on your knees. But the Duchess sort of reaches out with her arm and says, "Welcome! Welcome. Please, come in. Be at ease. It has been so long since you have left. I know my father valued you so highly. We do so much appreciate what you have been doing. Country, you sent us the grandfather, a mighty diplomat, to help pave our way to peace again within our city. And the assassins that you rid the world of along the road, indeed, so great." With this, she kind of rumples her hand on the Whistler's hair. "How's it, you all? Oh, you must have troubles on your mind to come so far to visit us. We very much appreciate your company, but I'm sure you came for more than just casual small talk. How may we be of assistance?"
We dealt directly fighting the Whistler, or something. I mean,
You came upon the Whistler poisoning all the men at the border of Safeton, every single guard,
right?
and laughing with glee as he did it.
Mhm.
But we didn't just hide and watch him go, did we?
No, I believe you were going to kill him, but instead locked him
Trapped him in some sort of room.
trapped him in a permanent jail cell with a really tall ceiling. You can assume that he was rescued. He could not have got out on his own.
There's no pretending we don't know him.
Yeah.
Definitely don't. I definitely wanted to kill him.
I mean, we could. He's definitely crazy.
Just deny our existence in his mind.
Yeah. Just gaslight him.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. Torn would probably start off with something like, well, firstly, we'd like to offer our condolences for your dear father.
Oh.
It was
Yes, terribly sad.
Yes, he was a friend of ours and a friend of Sandringham.
Such a terrible way to come to reign. His betrayal by his men. Awful. Truly awful. But my father was well loved. Matthias
Betrayal?
Smiles wryly. Yes, he went with a team of guards, and from what we could tell, they turned on him. Awful. Some sort of dark magic involved, I'm sure. They were most loyal to my father.
Had your father enemies?
Well, of course. All dukes and duchesses have enemies. But none that could reach him at so personal a level, strain such a peaceful journey. I can only assume betrayal from within.
I see.
Luckily, my sister and I are not as trusting as my father. We keep those within our court on a rather shorter leash.
Leashes, you say?
Yes, it's most important when one has someone dangerous within their ranks that they use for their protection, that they remain in control of their lieges, stewards, I don't know, peoples. Sorry, I don't have a word for that. He's far more eloquent than I am. Servants, I guess, in a way, but not quite. He's definitely referring most specifically to at their sides. Mage and of course we have measures in place to avoid any dark magics finding their way to us. Once again, you feel that pressure, Sebastian, return a little bit. You were invited to cast message, but it's gone again. That pressure is back.
What would you consider dark magic? I'll say as I step forward.
Magic itself can be dark or light, I guess, but for the most part, it is in whose hands that it is wielded that causes it. We have measures in place to prevent any malintent towards my sister.
I've heard you were graduates of the academy, but this magic seems quite powerful indeed.
Two of the youngest graduates, but the magic does not belong to us, but only to items that we have acquired in our travel.
Oh, rare artifacts.
Well, artifacts normally implies great age. I'm not so sure that some of these are old. And with this, you see his sister sort of reach up and stroke this black diamond chain. The silver that contains the black diamond seems to match that of the mask around Felon's, well, I think Felon's face.
Does it also match the silver sort of embedded in the carpet?
In color, a little bit, but it's the what's in the carpet is stone, not metal.
Alright.
But please, speaking of rare artifacts, magic, we do have a gift for you. But you have done such great work. Perhaps, Hennick, you would like to receive it?
Oh, I don't know that we've done it for any sort of reward.
My father was very fond of you, and perhaps a token of his esteem left to you by him.
Well, if it was his wish, I wouldn't refuse it, I suppose.
So, it will be hard to refuse this. And with that, she sort of reaches out and sort of almost manifesting in her hand is this small black box. It appears to be made of a dark wood. Very dark. It is natural wood, but almost completely black. It's quite ornate and embellished. Please, take it. Be my guest.
All right.
And as she places it in your hand, there is a slight weight to it. I'm sure it will be of great assistance to you.
I have no doubt your father was of assistance to us as well. We tried to be to him. Sorry it didn't work out.
Yes, his death was devastating.
You mentioned that you thought he was well loved, and I think among many in the city he was. Many who don't seem quite as happy right now. Perhaps just sad over his loss, but...
Well, they yearn for his return and rejoice as such. Unfortunately, it's not to be. So sad, so sad. Well, we do our best in the city, but, well, in times of war, nobody is truly happy, are they?
Well, and of course you haven't got that much experience. It's only to be expected you wouldn't do that good a job.
Is it? Perhaps. Though we began learning the mantle of power from such a young age. Perhaps we are more experienced than you think.
Well, you're certainly more experienced than I would be. Lording over people is certainly something I've always tried to avoid, so I don't know too much about it. I'd take your word.
Ah, yes, your legendary modesty. How humble of you. Well, at least some of us are willing to take the reins. Did you come seeking more than just a small talk, I'm sure? Did you have a wish or a desire? Or perhaps a request? Or even... You're not looking for work, are you?
Well, I suppose that would depend on what needed to be done. We're always happy to try to help if we can. We do have some matters of our own out there to attend to, but just wanted to see how things were doing here in the city. We had not been back in some time when we'd intended to earlier, and I'm sure much that we had been trying to deal with here has moved on, but...
Times are difficult here in the city. Many of the populace are drastically unhappy. During the times of turmoil, taxes were not collected, and the city fell on some hardships. In the recent times of us returning, of course, we've to replace those taxes and make up for what was lost. My father was a very fair leader, a very gentle leader, but unfortunately, a very responsible one. Office sat near empty, and in time of war, that is not something we can manage. So the people have been under hardship through taxation, and that is truly sad. There was also some maltreatment of mistreatment, of the populace by some of the shadier members of the city who attempted to wrest power. Father was absent. I'm afraid our battles with some of those powers have, well, we want Lorvalen to remain independent of the Urak state, and at least, we pay tribute and come under their rule, so to speak, but we're still an independent nation. We'll not be ruled by the Urak state. In our battles with those who would seek to rule us from afar, our people have suffered. It's truly sad.
Yeah, you speak of the need for resources for the war. It's obviously understandable. We saw something of it ourselves at one time, and although we've been back in Jorston for a bit, we haven't seen the borders. How goes the war effort?
Very glad to say that it's becoming less of a war, and more of a rescue mission. On discovering that these Yuanti were being tricked, as much as anything else, into fighting us. For the great works of some of our wizards who have retired from the academy, and some that are still there. We have been able to remove this red mist. Fortunately, the people who live closest to the borders found the Yuanti abhorrent things they did to us, although we must admit that we did the same to them. I find it difficult to see past, so getting some of those Yuanti to safe havens beyond our borders has been a primary mission of ours and cost great resources. Well, they cannot take shelter in their lands. I'm sure you know.
Right, so the mist is handled, but the land itself is still trouble in their parts.
Strong magics, beyond any of those that we could truly understand.
Well, it is of course commendable for you to find them shelter.
Where we can, and passage to Eladar where we cannot. The orc raids have mostly stopped. We've had to be quite firm at our borders. I understand they are under similar tribulations in their own land, but there's no excuse to raiding ours.
You've been in contact with Eldar, King Ivan?
Yes, of a sort. We have been in contact with his steward. The king himself seems to refuse to talk to us. Something about us not being the rightful leaders. We only wanted his assistance in looking after the refugees, but alas, one of his stewards has been ever so helpful. I would ask you to use your legendary charisma in restoring those bonds, but something tells me that you do not wish to be the ambassador of us quite yet.
Nonetheless, The dwarves are stubborn folk.
That they are. Perhaps some work closer to hand.
What do you propose?
Oh. The Duke in Harbondon has ever been a thorn in my father's side. He is still, I believe, attempting violence where possible. Or quick to violence where possible, I guess. In the border control. The border is closest to Harbondon, and it is his duty to seek haven for these Yuan-Ti and find restraint from his men. Been rather lax in both of those duties. Is something you would find close to your heart, no? Restoring peace.
Well, perhaps. But as you say, we may not be certain we're ready to work on your behalf just yet.
No, this would not be on our behalf. On behalf of the country of Just?
Well, sure. I feel I have to inquire.
Do you?
Given your discussion of leashes prior.
Don't worry. We won't put you on one.
Well, that's sort of the thing, you see. There's, well, I can't, this gentleman here, and I gesture at the Whistler, of course.
Yes. My pet now, but previously quite out of hand. Someone needed to take a firm hand with him, didn't they? And she turns down and strokes the back. He sort of turns up with this adoring smile.
You can understand how it's, either you're happy with him as he was, in which case that would be concerning, or you have that level of control over those who work for you, which would also be concerning to those interested in stepping into your employ. So it's just a bit of concern on either direction, you see.
Some need a firmer hand than others, those that have committed obscene crimes. With this, she turns not only to the Whistler, but also to the mage. They require the strongest of leashes. Or, is it not fair to say, the deeds that this gentleman has done would require execution? Instead, converting a most powerful creature to our tool seems more appropriate.
Just a quick thing, James. If there's any illusion magic going on, my ring should be vibrating.
There is absolutely none.
Okay.
There's a tiny bit in her robes that make them glisten slightly more than they should. But other than that, no.
That's fine.
Fancy robes.
Fancy robes. Woo! No, not my cheese-string. Sorry.
as she says, about them, should be executed. I'll just say, or they could just go to prison. You don't need to die.
Such an expensive problem, prisons. I don't believe in them.
You believe in enslavement instead?
No, reconfiguration. Recycling.
So you've altered their...
I've altered his behavior.
You've used enchantment magic.
Sometimes that is the way. Sometimes merely the correct motivations. We don't always have to resort to magic to solve all our problems. We might end up turning ourselves into cats.
What do you use to resolve your problems, if not enchantment magic?
Mostly sheer persuasion and correct motivation.
I'll sort of lightly kick Sebastian to get his attention and look down at him.
Sorry, are you suggesting we kill them? Because if so, Sebastian's down for this.
No, that's what they use, the threat of dismemberment.
Yeah.
Oh, please. The carrot is so much more effective than the stick.
Did you learn how to alter people's minds, or is this a naturally...
I've had natural charm since I was born. She smiles and Besides, you're something of a natural charm yourself, don't you? Well, in your current form.
Those are two very different things.
Why? Because I'm not small and cute. Oh, come, I can be small and cute if you would like. He gives a little coy smile and leans down.
I doubt you could be, but that's neither here nor there. And your brother, and I'll turn my eyes to him, do you practice the same things?
No, I'm nowhere near as charming as my sister here, but sometimes it falls upon me to wield the stick, but more regularly I'm more an organizer and a planner, good at resource management. I do the more mundane ruling of the city. My sister's charms are more than enough to keep bigger problems at bay.
Okay. So far, I'm getting College of Business Bard and and the Sorceress subclass.
Oh, nice.
If she's naturally born with charm.
She's merely saying that she's a charismatic human being.
Yeah, but I'm trying to read into it.
Okay.
Is she though?
Is she the what? Is she the what?
She seems quite naturally charming. She's been perfectly pleasant. It's quite
No, she
beautiful.
hasn't.
She's been perfectly pleasant.
Doesn't
to
seem
you.
very charming to me, but what do I
She's
know?
been entirely evil and menacing.
Ah,
Wouldn't call that charming.
Then I think it could just be my inherent prejudices. What do I know? What do I know?
yeah. Was there anything else you wish to discuss? Well, I know you're burning with questions.
I think we'll actually.
Yeah,
What's
not
in the
really.
box?
Ah, yes, what
I
is in the
haven't
box?
pointedly tried to move past opening it, but
I'm sure you can find out in your private time. Or now, if you wish. Curiosity is a burning. But we do seek to be open and honest with our citizens. If you do have any other questions, please, I'm more than willing to answer them.
Could you be open and honest and tell us what's in the box?
Yes, it is a stone. The stone can create quite powerful magic or anti-magical effects. It'd be very useful for you, I think. And, of course, would render you immune to any unnatural charm that you might think that we have at our disposal.
Would it also prevent us from using magic if it creates an anti-magic field around us?
Yeah, well, perhaps, but mostly by the by, is it not? I'm sure that she sort of motions towards Torin. One of your more martial folk might.
Super.
But the box renders it inert anyway, so to be used when you need it.
We appreciate the token, Your Majesties.
Okay. A gift, as I said. My father would have wished.
Well, it's been nice chatting. I start slowly backing away.
Get on here. It's been most pleasant to see such diligent members of our realm continue their honest and humble path.
If that
Yeah,
noise is
Are we all ready to leave, or
yeah, we only all really came because everyone kept telling us we needed to see what was going on in here. But, you know, what were we going to see besides this? So we didn't have any actual questions.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I had nothing to ask, nothing to say.
I could come up with several more insults to throw at them, but I don't really need to.
I wish I could come up with several fireballs to throw at them, but no, that would be a
No.
terrible idea.
Have
Do
you
we want to
decided
scope out-
who is in power?
No, but how can we?
Well, I
Blow
was
one
going
of
to
them
say,
up
do we
and
want
see who reacts?
do we want to sort of scope out the Lagon Estates?
Well, before we leave this room, how alive do the plants look?
What plants?
There's no plants here?
Or
You're
in place?
you're in a stone chamber, great carpets and tables with ornaments and beautiful glasses. The odd statue here and there and guards. Single planters.
So they're incestual and have no aesthetics. Okay, I'm gonna drop a seed under the rug and I'm gonna cast Druidcraft.
Give me a sleight of hand check
Sleight of
to try
hand?
and drop the seed under the rug.
I love how Bruno's like, incest I can forgive, but no greenery? That's
How
like,
dare
the
they.
line.
Earlier today, I also used wheel. So I'm gonna add, I think is it a d6? Let me just quickly. It is. Yes! Okay. So 8 plus whatever that is. Can I guidance it as well?
You would have the same problem with guidance that you're going to have with Druidcraft.
Oh, yeah, okay.
As you drop the
Plus
seed,
6.
a mage hand sort of reaches out and pulls the rug slightly backwards. The mask doesn't move, but a voice comes out from behind it that does not sound like them at all. Rumbles out, almost robotic. You seem to have dropped something.
Me?
Yes, you, elf.
That's just
Alright.
Rosa, always dropping things.
You wouldn't want to leave something so valuable behind. A life is so precious.
Alright, I'll bend down to pick it up. Guess there's room for everybody in the court, huh?
Our apologies. It would be no surprise to anyone who knows me that I would have picked up another friend who cares to spread seed as we go everywhere. I was wondering if we might, before we leave these states, it's good to see you all and offer our condolences and so forth. But we didn't really know you all before, and we did spend some time here. I thought perhaps we'd be allowed to say hello to some of the folk that we dealt with when we were here before. Maybe that Justin fellow or some of the maids and things that, we tend to make friends with those kind of folk.
Matthias responds. You had rooms in the court. Of course, you may have them again if you wish. I believe that a man of yours was a slave. He's still living quite the life, I believe. Of course, the Lagon States are yours to make your own. And, unfortunately, Justin is no longer the court steward, though he remains noble within our unit. Those who commit the most. It's with great sadness I must inform you that Steward Justin is one of the men who came under suspicion when my father died.
Well,
We
that is
have
disturbing, but
no proof of his guilt, so have not punished him at all. But it would be wise for us not to leave him in a position of responsibility any longer.
nevertheless, if y'all did believe in prisons, people go visit prisoners even when they know they've done horrible wrong.
Oh,
if they're
he's no
someone they had
prisoner.
a relationship with. So
He's kept.
I merely
comfortable.
express our interest in our continued interest in speaking to him, even
Well,
if
of
he
course.
has done something
I
horrible.
believe he is. Well, he'll be somewhere in the Lagon Castle. He doesn't venture out.
Well, we don't know how long we'll be staying, so I don't know that we need the rooms, but we'll be happy to. speak to
Welcome
some
for as
people
long
if
as
don't
you
mind.
wish. With that, she
You,
sort of,
you said you'd happily answer our questions.
Hmm.
Who's behind the mask?
You ask for the need of a mask on our court mage here. Well, Court Mage Felon was the one who was most suspicious in his behavior. Unusual interactions with druid cults on the quiet, blocking magics that go in and out of the city without my father's command. And of course, he was the one who was closest to my father to enact such magics to turn his men against him. The most rigorous of leashes. The mask, well, keeps him under control.
So you've allowed him to keep those magics up?
Some of them are useful. Recently, we have been monitoring some communication in and out of the city, trying to track down some dark goings-on in the city. In the meantime, it's just to have that up. So, many people come to us with requests of making certain communication, and we allow them through. It is publicly noted. We don't hide it, as we did in the past.
And is it your natural charm, of course, that keeps him under control?
No, of course not. It is the
That
mask.
necklace of yours.
It is the mask and the necklace. How astute of you. Yes, one to the other. They are paired. Adam doesn't have many thoughts of his own anymore. It's sad, I know, but better than death or imprisonment. We've made him useful again. He was quite a formidable mage.
Better to who?
Well, me, of course. And most citizens wouldn't want to be executed or imprisoned, would they? No, they'd far rather be useful to them.
Surely should be their choice.
I don't think a man like Felon deserved a choice. If he was not involved in the death of my father, the disgusting use of druidic magic to force people to cooperate or implode was worthy of far worse than death. She refers to the bracelets that you encountered on the assassins.
You said the loyal men that travelled with your father was the ones to betray him, and that it was dark magic that must have swayed them. Surely it's not dark magic, it would just be enchantment magic?
I suppose.
Very powerful as
Magic
well.
is as dark as the hand that wields it, you're correct. It is but a tool. But it is sad to turn the minds of those against the man they loved. I would call that dark. Do you not?
Depends if the one in question truly loves them.
I believe at least the soldiers there were loyal to my father, and surely they did not all harbour secret. He was a good man, my father.
Well, anyways, it was lovely meeting you. Start stepping backwards again.
You've been given a run of the Lego Estates.
Yeah, I mean, if we can leave the audience chamber.
Out the
Start
main
looking
exit, or
around.
just sort of
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
wander out into the Legon Estates and look about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wander out into the estate.
I'm afraid I do not have the name. Lord, what are you doing?
You do not have the name?
I do not have the... Oh, you got all of that. Good. Of the slaves that you...
Released.
No,
Released.
I can't remember either.
No, I think they're somewhere in the handouts somewhere. Only knows where. Yeah. Well, just hold off on that for yeah. Anything in particular that you're seeking, or just...
I mean, could try to find Justin, since we saw him there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he will seek you out if you stay within the estates, but he will not go outside.
Yeah, no, I just want to walk around and sort of we're looking for him, and also just keeping our eyes just on the status of the the various people who are in here.
Yeah, it won't be long before Justin sort of comes up to you and Master Littlefield. Very novel, Sebastian. Well, welcome back. I
Yes, sir.
only note that you are not the same group that departed. Counted you trouble on the road.
Indeed, we did. Not long after leaving, in fact.
So sad. Tasha was a very good woman. Can't help but notice that perhaps her desire to fight injustice has not remained with you all. Perhaps you are doing so in a different way. Surely you've been about the city.
Well, we've
Yeah.
only been in town today, so
But things certainly don't look to be, well, as they were before we left.
Our people are distraught. Taxes are far above what they can afford. No allowing of contentment within the city. Will argue are punished assiduously.
Justin, what do you make of these accusations against yourself with regards to the Duke?
What can I make of them? As soon as I raised dispute with the way that the twins were running the city, suddenly I found myself charged with murder of the man I loved most dearly. Served him for 42 years. Not to mention, I have
Aye.
no way of conducting cleverness, they say. They've been nice about it, I suppose. Please remain in the court. Please feel at home. Please feel at ease. They still pay me. They still treat me very well. Yet, tried to leave. Cannot.
How so?
I don't know. I've reached the boundaries of the estates. There's almost a physical barrier that I cannot push through.
Hmm.
That's both equal parts interesting and concerning.
They were always a bit powerful, even when they were youngsters before they went off to the academy. She manifested her powers at a very, very young age. I think the brother has spent more time training. Certainly learnt now. Can't help feeling that their magic is a little more than I expected.
well, when we left, or shortly thereafter, we had great suspicions of court mage Felon. We thought perhaps by the time we returned now, he wouldn't be so much of a, so impressive or so much of a threat beyond us. But now it seems that he has been taken over by a larger threat.
Whatever that is, it is not Court Mage Felon. Court Mage I knew was capable of deviousness. Perhaps had unhealthy interests, and may even have been wrong in his own ways, but I think he wielded the power that is not human, does not seem.
Well, whatever that is, they're still inside there. They're not completely taking over. I spoke to them. They said they'd talk to me later, so just any moment now.
Well, and even if not, even if he is gone, that's almost more of a concern. It's not for Felon myself or himself that I am concerned. It's for the indication of the greater power these others have.
Yes, you're right to be concerned.
What, I mean, perhaps you have a compulsion. You can't speak ill fully in this place. I don't
Oh
know.
no,
and
I can tell
maybe
you
it's
just how
not
much
wise
of a
to do so.
bastard they are, but they will hit.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on all day about raising taxes and building big thrones, but I'm not sure that would call for immediate action. I need to know if there's something more pointed that they've done or are doing.
They might be discontent, except that they are banished from the city, but have maids run errands, seek people. Don't reappear outside. They disappear. When
So
you were
in this
here,
case,
you were
disappearing
investigating
is something much
some
more
people.
final then.
You were investigating a mission. People disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
Red X is being painted upon doors. Those problems stopped almost exactly the same time, but were being banished from the city. I do not think the events has changed at all. Only be cleaner.
There were talk of some vampires as well. We never figured out if those things were connected.
And there was a
anything going on
vampire
with that?
in the sewers, dealt with by the guards, though they lost a few men. Quite a nasty creature, but just the one, as far as we could tell.
Interesting.
No, I want it to be a vampire. A
Missions
vampire
came
cat,
a-calling.
no one would see it coming.
Oh, Sebastian.
Jamal, what'd you say? Kevin?
I said missions came a calling though.
Hmm.
Well, it seems like a problem then, and one worthy of being dealt with, but not much idea how to proceed.
I don't get out of here. I don't know much of anything. King and Queen are certainly not to be a rallying point. Being quiet and ever so effective.
Yes, indeed. If we were to do something about that.
I don't know. Can't estimate your powers these days or anything like that. They're cunning. Plans within plans and measures within measures. Turn people on themselves. And not just through magic. She wasn't joking about her power of charm and wit. And many a politician out themselves without, as far as I can see, using any magic at all.
Yeah.
So another way of the path?
Yeah. We could use 8 or more caves worth of power, I think.
Yeah.
Probably. Probably.
And then hope that this
And-
place isn't destroyed by the time we get back.
And we do need to wait for some more developments, you know. You know, arrival of certain people.
The rescue effort? Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
not.
To rescue
Well,
certain
Justin-
people and, you know, possibly leveraging the discontent within this place, you know, some normality could be brought back.
Would
but
you have that discussion, Gava, within chambers of...
No.
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 Perhaps you might want to hold those thoughts until you're
Yeah.
not standing in there. You're not in their
Yeah.
audience chamber, but you're in their dining room, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But no, yeah, definitely. Just on the thought that we definitely need some more power. That's for sure.
It is
Part-
worth
part-
mentioning
part
that
of
when you left the long runner rug did feel the weight remove.
Why exactly can't you leave this place? Like, are you being magically held?
I believe so. When I reach the boundaries of the estates, I'll push through.
Do you want to test it?
Not really, but find a way to alleviate it, I would definitely run and make my escape.
Well, I could put a hither to the portal here, leave, put a hither to the portal outside, and then see
In
if
your
you can
head, Sebastian, you hear that would not be wise. You wish to speak later? Later has come.
go. Felon, is that you?
It was.
What have they done to you?
Sort of hesitates a moment. Can we perhaps not continue this strange type of speaking? With that, he sort of strides into the room, and he walks 2 steps, sort of each leg propping like exactly. There's no bend in the knee. The arms sway like exactly. He looks like a Cyberman.
Well, first of all, you started this weird conversation.
He sort of turns to Justin. And you were going to seek over him? No. Yes. Turns around and leaves. And the mage turns to you. You asked about Felon. Felon is no longer. I am what is replacing. Has replaced him.
Is his consciousness trapped inside, or is he, in all terms and purposes, dead and you're just using his body?
I'm not sure I can answer that question.
Damn it, I broke the computer.
But this being does not understand Felon. Or what he thought, or what he felt, though I do have some memories.
Okay, and what are you exactly? Are you a spirit? A demon?
I am me.
And what is
You may call me the Master Mage, is what I know.
What was you before then?
What were you before you were you? I do not know.
So you came into existence as the Master Mage?
I believe so.
I can actually answer that one. What Sebastian was before he became Sebastian. He was certainly not a cat.
Well, no,
He
he
was a
still,
normal
he
human,
was still
mate.
Sebastian.
You
Right?
could-
He means what were you before you were you? What were you before you were conceived? You don't know.
Yeah,
Too shy.
yeah, that's what he means. What memories do you have?
All of his memories. But I know they are not mine.
What was his last memory?
Things from home.
What was happening?
It is uncomfortable to remember, but he sees darkness and feels pain around his head. I believe that is when he received the mask.
And what was the memory before that, leading up to that?
I do not wish to speak of that.
Gosh.
If you're just their creature on a leash, why are you talking to us?
It has been permitted. The lady wants you to know she is honest and open. Your questions can be answered where possible.
What would happen if we took your mask off?
I do not think that is possible. He leans to the side, and you see that it's like, literally, it is his face.
Oh.
Oh, that's grim.
Just for reference, yes, he will turn to you. And once Felon wore a mask like this, when did things that were dark or evil. I think they thought the punishment just. So this mask was Felon's mask, but it was a mask, and now it is his face.
It's like the mask from the movie Mask. It's like that.
You gotta be careful. It's the movie from the movie The Mask, not from the movie Mask, which is just that kid's mangled face.
I mean the Jim Carrey film.
You gotta be pretty old for some of these.
Do you have any magical things you could give us that aren't traps?
No.
Damn.
I have been given a gift.
Is that a trap?
No.
Is that a no, it's not, or it's not to your knowledge, it's not?
You may use it how you please, or discard it if you wish.
I feel like we should ask like all the questions while we've got in here. What's their weakness?
Doesn't even respond to that. Looks at you.
Damn.
I mean, you've pretty much already sort of said there, like, Felon did terrible stuff. I don't know if, like, I feel like we want to, like, get details or something, but I don't, as my real self, have enough idea of what to ask. Like, you know, when you were Felon, you remember him doing some terrible things. That was all of his own accord at that point?
I believe so, although he had contact with of this cult.
Right, rather druidic situation.
The quests to eradicate that cult have been failures.
And you do not wish to speak of some of the things he did.
Speak of anything he did. It's the memory of what happened before the mask that he doesn't want to speak of, because you would assume that is revealing something of the nature of her that she doesn't wish. How he was ensnared and defeloned. Right? He doesn't want to talk about that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Doesn't want is a nice way of putting it.
No, that's totally fair. So
that
then,
Whistler fella. Oh, sorry.
So if it's my understanding of what I remember from what was mentioned some moments ago, Felon was indeed the one behind the rings on people's arms.
The bracelets, yeah.
The bracelets, yes.
Really, arm rings? Is that what you're going with, Jamal? They're called bracelets.
My brain fucking switched off. Okay.
We have neck
You can
rings,
berate me for
arm
that
rings.
You can berate me for that later, okay? Fine.
They were wearing head rings, the crowns.
Yes, head rings. Yes, fantastic.
Yes.
Next thing you know,
Felon
we'll
was
have
behind the
ankle rings.
bracelets.
The bracelets detonating. Yes.
You also see that Felon performed some really quite nasty, like he will tell you, that performed quite nasty experiments on some of the citizens of the city that he managed to get his hands on to further his druidic magics. Basically, to learn about creating the bracelets.
Ah. So, since you are now who you are, then I'm assuming we shan't have to worry about seeing any more of those.
Do what I'm commanded.
That's all I need is to know.
To the best of your memory, what did their father know of Felon's doings?
Nothing. The Duke Lagon was blinded by his kindness and trust.
So he had no idea.
Well, I can't say I see Felon as any great loss, to be honest. Not so sure about you, his replacement. Don't know you too well.
He makes no response to that. He has no response to
Yeah.
that. And then he sort of looks at you and, is our conversation over?
I do have one more question, if you would be willing to divulge.
Please feel free.
Do you remember Felon looking through certain stones?
When he was spying on you, yes.
Yes. What was it he did with that?
He monitored your actions and placed assassins in your way.
Huh.
When you went down the line of assassins, they were being put in your way.
I see. So that confirms that one then. Thank you.
Felon who was behind the death of your comrade. Take my name.
Of course.
Way back in chambers.
Well, one final thought. If you
His
you-
head
you
sort
had,
of unerringly like swivels backwards almost before his body turns. And he's like,
sorry, you when you first stepped in, we were talking with Justin, and but you said that it wouldn't work to get him out with the portals or whatnot.
I suggested you didn't try it. I would have to retrieve him.
I see. Thank you.
He
That's all.
is, I suppose, you would call it a prisoner. But held in comfort.
But he wouldn't be blasted to smithereens trying to get out of here by some magical means.
No, I would just have to fetch him.
Which
I would
I'm
find that
sure you would
task
do.
arduous.
Duly noted.
Well, maybe even the descendant resident of Felon's body deserves some hard labor for his crimes.
I am good at
Nevertheless,
retrieving things.
I'm sure you are.
Sort of, whilst his head is still tilted slightly to the side, just gives you a nod. Turns back and walks away.
Huh.
Well, shall we make sure we can leave this place, folks?
Sounds like a plan, Hennick.
Whilst we still have the freedom to.
It was Josh's belief that you'd never get out.
Whatever the path.
Yes, let's get another hither to the staff.
Arbondon, Furlock's house, home, Fangia, your estate, grandfather in Saveton, back to Veralia, go visit the orcs, Eladar? What's the thinking?
So we could just teleport Justin out to the ship. But he'll be nearby then. Too easy to find. No, I mean, I think first is just to walk away out of the estate and see that we can.
Yep.
Have
You
a
get to
little
the
bit more
gate,
freedom to talk.
and you feel a slight, like, pushing feeling, as if you're going through, like, a bit of thick air, and then you're through, for all of you.
So that must have been the one in question.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I think there's more to be done here. I sure ain't doing it while staying in the estates.
At least we know how to sever the connection with them and the masked mage.
What, with that necklace?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
a good
sorry,
eye.
can you be a bit more specific? Oh, you mean that? Yeah, okay, carry on.
Yeah. Like all good villains, she monologued her weakness.
Yeah,
Where should we begin, Hennick?
just walking farther and farther away.
I mean, I guess we could go back to the Velvet Glove.
True.
It seems to be the
Mhm.
safest spot in the city for us.
How about a random corner or someplace? Take a look in the box there.
You find a random dark.
I'll pass it to Sebastian, who seems more interested in it and would know about magic stuff anyway.
Yep. As soon as you open the box, you will
Whoa, not so quick. Not so quick. Hold on a second, Jumpy. I will be putting the box on the floor, stepping 30 feet away from it, and I will open it with Mage Hand.
Okay. As soon as the box gets ever so slightly open, the Mage Hand disappears.
Okay, so it is an anti-magic field. Okay. I will put... No. Okay, I'll walk over there, put the lid back on.
Well, the lid close immediately.
then...
You'd only opened it like a millimeter.
Okay. Yeah, I'll close the box. And then I want to cast Detect Magic over it, just to see if there's any other traces of anything else. No, so like... If the rock is an anti-magic field, like that would be, assumably, one school of magic. So I want to see if there's any other schools of magic. Like,
okay, first of all, you cannot detect the stone whatsoever while the box is closed.
Okay.
The box itself does contain the tiniest amount of magic. It's transmutation magic. You think it's something to do with preservation. Maintaining itself. You do know that there must be a thick lead inlay to that box, otherwise it would not be containing the magic.
And then obviously I can't detect magic whilst the lid's open.
No, you can.
Then I will put the lid back on the box. I will give the box to Torin.
Have you actually looked inside the box yet?
Sure.
Okay,
I will look in the box.
Okay, so when you open the box, Torin, you will feel your face sort of droop down as the item you're wearing, the mask, the dragon, weighs a lot more when it is not magical. The same with... No, Alessio's not here, sorry. I was about to say the same with Alessio's armor. I was like, nope, wouldn't know that. But you will feel like a dulling of lots of different things. You're all carrying quite a lot of magical items. You are immediately gain no effects, no benefits from them whatsoever. Everything within certain distance of this, what appears to be a large black crystal on a necklace. Pure silver. Large black crystal, necklace of pure silver.
Then in that case, I will give the box to Chiavo and say this shouldn't affect you all.
But yes,
it
obviously,
most certainly does, you cheeky little bugger.
you will all swiftly realise that it is a necklace of anti-magic field. I think it's there's a crystal of anti-magic field you can add to an inventory if you wish. It does not require attunement. It does say 30-foot sphere. As yet, you haven't worked out the distance on this, but you know it's more than 30 feet.
I suppose we could always throw it at a mage in combat.
Sure. You wouldn't then be able to throw any spells after it because they dissipate at the end of the sphere, but yes.
Sure, but it also means they can't do anything.
You could just put it around a mage's neck and have Torin beat them up.
Not if he can't move if his head's too heavy.
As you open the box, you may give me an investigation check if you are looking at the box itself as opposed to the necklace.
Sure, I'll take a look at the box if that's okay.
23.
Oh, never mind, he's got it.
Yep. Sebastian, as you investigate the box, you do see that behind the silken covers is a piece of metal. And whilst you're expecting lead, what you actually see is exactly the same metal that was on the mask and around the necklace. Whatever it is, it prevents the anti-magic from seeping through the box.
Are we going to keep this dastardly tool?
We could sell it.
For what? To who?
Oh, we don't need it.
Don't you?
I'd rather it be destroyed, thank you very much.
Why should it be destroyed?
Because when it's in my possession, I certainly feel very unhealthy.
Well, close the
Perhaps
box
we should
then,
take
fool.
it. Yeah,
If you
perhaps
don't feel... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say perhaps we take it to the Mages Guild.
Oh, they'll love that. Whole tower will crumble. Everything there is magic.
Yeah.
Why don't we just see if we can ascertain a little bit more certainty that it's not got anything else going on, and then hang on to it in case it's needed. I think if we get somewhere better than this, I was worried at first bringing it along if it's keeping an eye on us or anything like that, but we may not have a choice. I don't really want to do a long study here in the alley. But
You
I
know
think
that the lined box is not giving off any magic other than that minor bit of transmutation. You can't detect anything of the magic stone itself, but I can assume that you're traveling with the box closed. At which point, you know that the magic of what it is inside cannot get out. If you want to experiment further, you can put your own magical items inside the box and see them turn off when they're inside.
I was thinking of getting back to
Velvet
Velvet Glover someplace and casting Commune. Asking for a little divine answers as to whether there's any tracking or other problems with the box
Okay.
or the item.
Yeah, you can do that.
But if we don't want to go there.
You're going back to the Velvet Club? Yeah, you're welcomed in. Dinner is available if you wish. Yeah, you're given the privacy to cast Commune if you wish. Did somebody want to add the Crystal of Anti-Magic? Whoever it is. I mean, just for now, if you want to just so someone has a note of it, you may change the 30 feet. Change the 30 feet to 120. The 120-foot sphere.
Yeah.
Radius, that is.
I'll mark it.
120-foot radius sphere.
I'll mark it so that we know.
Stone is there if you have any questions about it.
Yeah, so as usual for Hennick, this is more looking in the almanac and licked finger in the wind kind of nonsense, but to try to get the questions here, I think that I would ask. Wait, shit, I just clicked the wrong thing. I know it's just 3 yes or no's, right? Where the hell did it go? Oh, there it is. Yes, 3. Okay.
Can you ritual cast the barge just out of curiosity?
I think so. Yes, I will check that.
Okay,
but I
good.
believe
Because just a
it is
reminder
on
that
there.
all ritual spells can only be cast as ritual spells.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, but if obviously you can have that as a bard and not like if you don't have the ability to ritual cast, then it doesn't behave as a ritual for you. So that's
Let's
fine.
just check and make sure.
If it has an R next to it in your spell list, you can ritual cast.
Oh, that's right. They don't mark it there unless you can, and it does. And I was pretty sure that I
Yeah,
had
cool.
that ability.
Marvelous.
Anyway.
Fantastic. Okay, so yeah, it takes you a minute
Yes,
to cast
yes,
it.
that's right there. Is this? I guess I'm kind of getting 2 for 1 if I say this or that, but we still wouldn't know which. Is this
The answer is
box
going to be
or
yes
the-
if you ask this or that.
Right, but that's still it might be good enough, right? It might not actually be good enough.
Oh, I see what you
Is-
mean. Yeah, yeah.
No, I mean like right. If I say like if is the box or the stone,
Mhm.
the box or the necklace, in any way, what was I going to say? Fuck, trapped isn't the right word. Let's just say, is it first question? Is the box or the necklace in any way working against us? Ugh, that's 2, because the magic field does.
I can't answer.
Is this
that
being?
question.
Can either of these be? Is either of these able to be used to spy on us? Let's start with that.
You need to divide the questions. I can't answer that
Yeah.
question. You need to divide the box and the stone, because I can't answer the question about both. I can only answer against one or the other.
Well, right,
the
but then
necklace.
if I ask both, then the answer is yes. If it's yes for either one of them, like if I have a blue ball and a red ball, and I say is either of these balls blue, the answer is yes.
But the answer to the box is no. I'll tell you that. The answer for the stone is not yes or no.
Okay.
I need to give you a short phrase. I will just say
I see.
we
Yeah, no,
cannot
it's fine.
know.
Sure.
You can assume that because it is anti-magic, it is invisible to the eyes of whatever deity, god, divine proxy, ally,
Wow,
etc.
jeez.
It is invisible.
All right.
But 100%, the box is not used in any way against you. It is what it is.
All right. I'll count that as 2.
Yep.
Because
That's good to me.
the box. Because the box is on the outside, that's fine. So we can.
I mean, realistically, it's a 1-minute ritual.
Final
pass. You
question.
can just do it endlessly.
I'm not sure Hennet cares. Sure. Well, no, but you get not the same day. You get
Yeah.
missed chances. It's
Of course.
shitty information. Final question. Not sure that Hennet cares, but is Felon's personality there to be saved?
No.
Given the conversation, I would certainly pass that information more on to Sebastian. Don't seem like there's anything a Felon left to fix.
Could we free whatever being is trapped in his body?
We'll have to ask them about it tomorrow.
He's out of questions.
Yeah, I know.
yeah. But no, that's actually important too.
But then, would we want to? I mean,
Well, I don't know. But I think we're
Sure.
safe to hang on to the box for now.
Well, surely whatever being is trapped in his body is just as much a prisoner and a victim as anyone else.
maybe true.
Yeah, but we don't know what it is, the nature of that being. It could be something that's almost worse if it's let loose. I mean, I don't care for these Duke and Duchess, such as they call themselves at this point, but I don't think I really want to... I don't want the normal version of the Whistler either. So maybe I don't want the normal version of whatever's in Felon's body.
Do you think the Whistler's beyond saving?
Oh yeah.
One does.
I think if he's in a room with most of us and not you, he's beyond saving, that's for sure.
Very true.
In a group of a bunch of murder hobos.
No.
I may not
No,
believe in
yeah.
execution as the response to all crimes as opposed to any imprisonment, but I'm not sure it has no purpose ever.
Well, all right then.
So food?
They did offer you dinner.
Oh no, I didn't mean those weirdos. I meant like I don't
The
know.
Velvet Glove.
The Velvet Glove offered you dinner. Remember, that's where you had your royal
Oh
steak.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, then yes, more steak.
Yes, excellent. I actually transferred their names to my written down stuff yet. Okay, cool. I don't think we need their names to feed you anyway. Yeah, food will be brought up. You can have a room here if you wish to rest. May take a long rest if you wish, and set out your plans the following morning if you want.
Sure.
Probably sort of 8 o'clock at night at this point, so a meal and a chat in bed sounds sensible, but we'll take a short break. Hello, hello. Welcome back to the second half of Beldania. Has the music stopped? That was really weird. It stopped as I pressed play. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Welcome back to the second half of Beldania. Yeah. You've had a lovely meal, an excellent royal steak, so to speak, amongst other things.
Oh no. What if the royal steak is actually the meat is the king and queen, and that's why they can't see anyone? Oh,
Only
no.
you could come up with such things.
Damn.
That's now canon.
They're so tasty.
Yeah. Obviously, speaking of the royal meat, you were due an appointment with them in the morning. If you so wished. Remember, you were told to come back the following day.
Oh yeah.
Although we were
let's
informed that we
go.
would likely be turned away again, we can always just mosey on over, I guess.
Dayzebi, welcome to Dark Pond. Thank you very much for the follow. Please sit back away from my pond die. I don't know why it's come up twice, but thanks. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, you had a royal appointment in the morning. You weren't necessarily sure if you were gonna be able to see them, but I think the original plan was to see if that worked.
Yeah, we can follow through that.
Sure, let's go.
Okay. The following morning, you head over to the royal palace, and the same guard is on duty. Welcome. Here to see the king and queen, correct?
That's correct. We had an appointment set up by someone here.
Very well. Come with me. And he leads you to the palace. He opens the doors and leads you to the royal chambers, where sat upon their thrones, as where you saw them before, are the king and queen. They look a little pale. Otherwise, pretty much as you've seen them before. Fennec. Oh, you're missing someone. Please don't tell me anything has happened.
All right, I won't.
She does not laugh, obviously. Oh, sad.
What my friend Hannek here means to say is that yes, indeed we have lost our dear Natasha.
That is devastating. She was such a light. Darkness. Tragic. I'm so
Aye,
sad.
that she was.
And how goes the rebuilding of your home?
Much better, thanks to you.
Glad to hear it. If you don't mind me saying, Master Littlefield, you have aged in the short time that you have been gone.
That's concerning.
You
Your
look
grandfather
like
thought about keeping busy. I might sort of do the opposite.
Oh, I don't mean aged like that. You look like you have dreadful responsibilities now.
Well, it's not right to dread responsibility, I suppose, but
It can be weighing
yeah, there's a lot
nonetheless.
going on. There's a lot going on.
I'm sure there is. Afraid that we don't deal much with going on at the moment. Sort of looks to his wife, and we get tired so easily at the moment. Constantly tired. The healers say that we have taken ill. Will pass. Feels like it has been a long time. Very tired.
Who else is here?
You'll see, as you're standing in the audience chamber, sort of the royal guard. There's about 8 of them in the room. Surrounding the areas. There is a rather self-important chap who was the steward, but told you last time that you need an appointment. And there's the king and queen.
Any weird silver anywhere?
You can see. The king and queen are both wearing jewelry, of course, and their crowns.
I
Nothing
want
appears
to.
drastically out of place right now.
I guess I didn't really need to be that surreptitious about this because it's not 100% clear anybody around cares or knows. So I want to pull out the much discussed box and just look around at my friends and sort of mime cracking it open with the questions of,
Before he does, I would like to message the Queen and ask her if she's safe.
She looks back at you and sort of think so.
And I'll do the same message to the King.
Yes.
Then I'll look to Hennig and go,
anybody else giving any strong shakes or nods of the head? I'm just curious.
By your shake
I'm
of
on
your
the-
head, Rico, you mean that Torin is not
You're not
shaking his
shaking
head.
your head.
yeah. I no, Torrens. Torrens on board.
I just
Thorin's
watched
on
half
board.
of Clue last night.
Cool.
It was the same. It was just like, is there anyone in the house? Yes or no?
Just love that film. Yeah, you can crack it open.
Yeah, I'm afraid this is more my curiosity than Hennick's curiosity, but nevertheless, I'm going to crack it open and see if they like suddenly seem less ill or anything.
Yeah, nothing happens. Well, something happens. Your magics all get dissipated.
Sure.
The light goes out on the ceiling, which is really annoying because that was magic. And a couple of the guards sort of almost keel over as you see their huge breastplates that were magically enhanced and now sort of weighing them down. And one of the guards turns to his friend, he's wearing like light armor and has like a bow on his back. And he sort of turns to him, "Are you right there?" And he's so tired, so heavy. Oh. But apart from that, no, nothing happens to the king and queen.
Your Majesties, if I may inquire, how long is it that you've been feeling this way?
Oh. I don't know, maybe a couple of months.
Any changes to your diet? Perhaps in
We still use the same chef.
routine?
Recently, yes, I mean, my routine and my diet have changed since I got ill. Eat nothing but soup. So tired. Muscles hurt.
Certainly close the
Body
box
hurts.
at this point.
The guard stands straight up again. Oh. Seems to have passed. Yeah. The king and queen don't believe that anything specific has happened or changed.
Well, you know, not that we've replaced dear Natasha, but we have picked up a few friends along the way. May I introduce you to Rosania here?
A pleasure, I'm sure.
Rosania is quite the talented healer. Perhaps she could have a look at your conditions and
Oh, that'd
give
be
her
most
expert advice.
appreciated.
Okay, I will step forward and I'm going to first start by casting a cantrip, which is diagnose.
Yep. King or queen?
I mean, if I can do both, I'll do both.
Yeah, but which one first?
Queen first.
Yep. She has it's an unusual feeling. Okay. And what, are you just going a general health check?
Yeah, let's start with that.
Okay. You notice signs of a fever, bloodshot eyes, signs of fatigue, 2 or 3 levels of exhaustion, nausea, headaches, muscle cramps, leg pains. It's like this person's just suffering from like some sort of withering illness.
Is the king
It
the
would
same?
make sense if they were closing in on 100 as opposed to in their late 50s.
Is the king the same?
Yeah, very similar symptoms. The only difference with the king is he seems to have got off his food. And yeah, mention stomach cramps.
Okay. Let's start with a healing word of first level.
They perk up a little bit, but really solve anything. Feel better for the day.
Based on what I did, I'm gonna start by casting Greater Restoration on the Queen.
Okay.
I can reduce
do you have the
target's
material
exhaustion
components?
level. Oh no.
It's
Have a
like
component
diamond
pouch?
dust or something, right?
It's worth at least 100 gold pieces.
Yeah, I mean it's diamonds though, right? I think. I don't know. I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any of those on your persons. I'm sure
Do
at
we
some
have
point
diamond
someone
dust?
bought a diamond for Revivify. I don't know if it's the same.
Looking
Or
at
did I dream that?
looking at Hennick.
If it was given to anybody, it would have been Rosania, right?
Well, Hennick is pulling up potions of health.
And remove exhaustion
Certainly
levels,
make
yeah.
plenty of potions, yeah.
And when you drink this potion, it removes any exhaustion you are suffering and cures any one disease or poison affecting you.
Yep, just a
I've got 9
reminder
of them.
though. Yeah, so Rosania knows that there's 3 levels of exhaustion for each, so if you wish to give them a potion.
Sure.
You don't sense the presence of any disease such, but yeah, it's almost as if they're just older than they should be on the inside. The only way I can put it. But yes, the 2 potions of health will remove all the exhaustion, and you do see them both sort of get back up. And... Oh, a bit more awake. That is quite the tonic you have there. But will the tiredness come back? The answer is quite simply yes. It's like they're suffering from old age. The only way I can explain it to you.
Would I be able
They
to
don't
take
show
the
any
time to-
physical signs of age.
Would I be able to take the time to see if I can detect whatever magic is going on in this current location where we are?
Yeah, you turn most of it off with a stone, and not much of it's come back. The guards have breastplates on that are magically enhanced. The light is magical, although nobody's turned it back on. And that's it.
Right, so...
Tell a lie,
there's
sorry, the
something-
king does have a magical ring. It's the royal signet ring.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole point of opening the box in the first place, was if they're being affected by anything magical, it should go away. And
Yeah,
it didn't,
exactly.
So it's not, yeah.
I was just curious as to see if there was something like acting...
Yeah,
with-
like whether
like
somebody
the
was
area.
listening in or something.
Yeah, or if there was something acting in the area to make them feel this way.
I
Like-
think so.
Persistently, that came back after closing the box. But
So would this be like a curse?
Doesn't seem to be. I think you'd be aware of the presence of a curse, wouldn't you? Or maybe not. The curses are usually magical in nature. I don't know whether turning magic off in the area would work. Yeah, it would be.
Might either of you have had contact with the Duke and Duchess, perhaps in the last month?
Oh, yes. They come once a month. They apprise me of what's going on in the city, and I've had letters as well.
Have they brought you gifts?
No, not that I can. Oh, mostly bad news, if I'm honest. Really a gift.
Let me see.
Express their condolences for our illness. They also sent a healer a couple of weeks ago. Try and assist, so really do much. My husband's stomach cramps were gone for a couple of days. Felt a little better, but then wasn't able to sustain it.
Okay, I want to try something.
Sorry,
I'm
just really
gonna-
quickly, I think I missed something whilst I went to the bathroom. They're ill.
Yeah, the king and queen seem to be ill in some way.
Okay.
They're old before their time, but not physically on the outside, only good insight, if you like. They seem to be suffering the effects of old age whilst only in their late 50s. Sorry, Bruno, you were saying?
I'm gonna use a 4th level conjure woodland beings. I'm going to attempt to summon 8 pixies. And they can cast the spell magic once per day. So I want them to kind of scan the king and the queen and dispel, like, just cast dispel magic on them. And
It won't have any effect. You've literally just used an anti-magic stone to stop all magical effects in the area for 120 feet.
Okay,
There is no magic.
The second thing I want to try is a very powerful magic spell. It is heal. It's a 6th level spell.
I don't think you guys are high enough level for 6th level spells. Cool.
And yeah.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Obviously, I can only cast it on one of them.
Blindness, deafness, diseases, 70 hit points. Yeah, they feel even more slightly better, but the genuine effect are not occurring.
Yeah.
It's you can't heal old age, right?
Yeah.
Why are they older than they should be?
I mean, the only thing that I can think of then would be that this might be the effect of an encounter with a ghost. But the only thing they can really fix
It is a little like that, yes. It is a little like that. I guess. A little like
Well, we've
restoration.
we've run into some strangeness with the way time is working.
Yeah. What about that whole time shift shenanigans that we experienced in Sandringham?
I mean, that seemed more tied to, well, I don't know, I can't quite recall, but some of the druidic stuff that would have happened maybe before these kids took over. And they seem to have gone in a different direction, perhaps, but nevertheless could be related.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where it affected Yagra quite profoundly, but as soon as the effect wore off, then Yagra was no longer, under its influence. So
Perhaps the presence of druidic magic persists in this very castle. On this land.
Well, our stewards aren't affected, nor our chefs, nor any of our servant people. Not that I understand much of what you're saying, but...
Well, in case this is something magical, I'm just a person to consult. They may have an idea. Of course, I'll bring forth Theseus and explain literally everything of what's occurring.
He will say, wild elves had some ancient magics that could... They would ravage you with time itself. But those magics were long forgotten to the world. But usually they would age the person in physical form as well. I suppose that could be easy enough disguised. Once changed, the magic would not persist.
What have you been eating?
I'm assuming you're not asking Theseus that.
No, obviously. He eats us!
He's
No,
been
the
eating
king.
the weed.
So the king has already told you that he's mostly been persisting on
sorry.
soup recently because he's been off his food. But before that, they haven't changed chef, and the chef prepares the same sorts of foods they used to eat. The queen, much the same.
Sure, that
And
doesn't
Bruno,
mean
of
that
course,
it's
can detect any sort of
sauces.
poison or disease with diagnosis.
I see.
So considering the magic that we suspect, Theseus, is there any way to counteract or prevent this?
Yes, definitely. You could use the Greater Restoration spell at the 9th level. Or you could use Wish.
Powerful magics only.
It's time ravage for you.
Right. So,
It's a formal fact. It's not. I will tell you that this seems to have been going on for more than 30 days, so that they haven't dropped dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that. Rapid time movement is what Hennick pointed towards, and very, very on the mark. But very on the mark.
I did get my intelligence up to an 8 the last time we had a ASI.
Well,
so-
I almost gave you a DM inspiration card, and then I realized that we don't have them in this campaign. I went to drag it to you, and I was like, oh, there's not one there. I'm sorry, I'm impressed. Well, if you could occasionally come by and turn feelings like this, I'd be most glad. You're more effective than that other healer.
I may have to make sure that you have a supply of potions to keep you going until a proper solution can be found.
If you can make tonics like those, and she points towards the potion of health, it'd be wonderful.
Well, they're
I'm
pretty
pretty
widely
sure.
available.
Oh, we'll
Just
have to send a
about
man
whether
to town.
anybody would bring them to you.
We do seem to have some trouble sometimes communicating with the outer world. Get a bit shut away.
Yeah, the potions of stamina for the exhaustion, they can be provided
Yep.
quite easily as well.
Sounds wonderful. Sure, you're very busy, but if they're readily available, then we'll purchase them in. Manufactory potions of health, did you say?
Indeed.
Yes, it. I'll get a large supply.
And-
We'll drink them for breakfast.
And I believe any good alchemist should be able to provide the potions of stamina.
They do the
Otherwise,
same thing.
They did. Oh, right, okay.
Potions of health are exhaustion removal. Potions
Oh,
of
right,
healing.
yeah. Right.
Potions of healing
Gotcha.
are healing.
Yeah. Right, gotcha. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming to visit. I'm afraid that, I don't know if we can be of much use to you. Very good of you to come by. I'm really sorry, guys. You're going to have to chat amongst yourself for a couple of minutes.
Right.
Well, the king and the queen fall suspiciously silent in their returning exhaustion.
Great. Now that God's gone.
So, so more time magic. That's the thing we suspect then.
So sorry, I left for a second there. Did we discern the source of the time magic, or just that it was time magic at all?
Yeah, time. Just that it is. I mean, it's a version of a spell from Wildmount stuff, but I don't think we know who
The
did
last
it.
time we saw it, though, was with Yagra as a consequence of what the Wild Elves did. So
Mhm.
it could be related to that.
More
possibly,
importantly,
but-
it's like really, really hard to fix.
Mhm.
So we kind of have to, I think, just go with other stuff.
Keeping them going until
Yeah,
we can
basically.
find fix or someone
Right.
can.
So perhaps, I mean, obviously James needs to know this, but we can kind of talk out deciding it. I mean, what do we want to do? I mean, I have a couple of ideas for rallying people in the city. I'm not sure we are ready for the Duke to return just yet, so I don't know that we need to speed that along. So that would be my initial thinking, is stay here and try to make preparations for his return.
Hmm. Okay. In what way do you think that we're not ready for the Duke return, though?
Like, we don't know, like, I mean, it's been suggested that we can't just go, oh, look, here he is, let's go. I mean, like, we need to spread the word among the people a little bit.
Yeah.
Generate a little bit of
Sort
interest.
create
Have
the
more of a
insurgents.
plan for, even if he were back, like, he doesn't have any magical ability, right? So we have to have more of an idea of how to deal with the head of the snake, I think, before he gets back. I mean, we could actually use the thing that we learned, the sort of this stupid, it's a very stupid minor distraction, but if at an opportune moment we did teleport Justin somewhere and then wait for Felon to be like away retrieving him, that would keep him busy for at least a moment. I don't know.
And then at the same time that happens, conveniently an entire disgruntled city decides they've had enough.
Right, and that's like, so I think that we, because everybody keeps saying, the Velvet Glove people told us basically, right, that like there is there's enough manipulation, and we sort of found this even in the discussion with them today, right? There's enough that's going on that's not just their individual like magical power or stuff. There's all these sort of machinations going on too, right? So we kind of have to have an overwhelming sort of swing ready to go. I don't think we can do either alone, right? We can't just fight them or just have the Duke come back and inspire the town. It's got to be kind of like ready to combine those two things, so that whatever their minions around the town are doing or their manipulated people around the town are doing, that gets handled by the mass appeal or the of everybody like happy and ready for change and inspired with the Duke's return, while we're also ready to deal with them directly. So that's why I don't think that we're necessarily ready we don't need the Duke back this instant.
Gotcha.
When you say rally the people, do you mean like regular people?
Yeah, I mean, as
to fight against
like the citizens.
I don't know, to maybe fight against or to deal with stuff that we don't really quite know exactly what it is. So that's something we could do, is try to figure out like what would happen, like, right? Because it's been suggested that like they've got their fingers in everything, right? And just getting rid of them isn't automatically going to fix things. So maybe we need to figure out what that is, so that they've got they've got some dickhead who's lording over people at some tavern over here, and they've got the jerk on the docks who's lording over people down there, and whatever, those kind of things happening everywhere. Those are the kind of things that the random people of the town can deal with, right?
Sure.
While we're dealing with the head of the snake. I don't know, that's the best I can think of it at the moment.
Sure. If we left Lord Vanillin just to like literally leave the premises, we could try and contact Furlock to see if he has, to save us having to go all the way to the academy to get information on them. We could just sending him to get information on the twins to see if he knows any weaknesses.
He may even have information. From what you're aware, giving the timings, he probably taught them.
I know. I mean, I know that.
Yeah, but I mean, you would know that from the timings. You know when Lord Vanillin, when Furlock left. To become an NPC.
The academy.
You know when Furlock left the academy, and you know that the twins remained there past their studies for quite a long time. So certainly in their study time, they would have.
Yes.
And I mean, I think,
question,
and this is
without your mic being on, or were you? Oh,
it's
not
that's
us.
weird.
Oh, okay. Yes, it is weird. It is very weird that they stayed at the academy without becoming teachers or anything. Very unusual. Worth asking questions.
This is not the most Henneke question to ask, but I think we need to see if we, maybe from Furlock or from anybody else, like what further information we can find out about their fancy silver and black stone type or whatever it is, because there's got to be something more to that. Otherwise, we would just go back in with the stone that they gave us and knock out their control of everybody. You know what I mean? Like the masked mage, if it's being magically controlled by a necklace that she has, I mean that the stone we've given should just end that.
I don't think it will though, because the silver lining stopped it, and if that's the case, then the anti-magic won't affect her or the mage. And
maybe it's just that, and maybe you just know that, and we can even just say that or skill check it as Sebastian, or maybe we need to find some more information about then how to counter that stuff instead.
Yeah.
From whom? I don't know. I guess Furlock's a good start.
Okay. So the plan is to
Did we want
head a little bit out of Lord Vanillin, perhaps. Do you want to?
Well, I was going to say, why don't we maybe head towards Harbondon under the guise of, doing this task that the Duke and Duchess have asked us to perform. Check out this Duke, or the mayor, I guess, of Harbondon, and then in the meantime, be contacting Furlock.
Duke is the right word.
Yeah, the information. Yeah. Is the Duke of Harbondon? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think his name's Hadrian, but I will need
Harshaw, I think.
Harshaw. Yeah, there we go. That's right. Duke Harshaw. Oh my god, I've just Googled politics of Beldania. Not what I was looking for.
Info, it brings up the Duck Pond website.
No, it asked if I was looking for politics of Barovia.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that works. If we may not actually end up having to go that whole way, or we decide not to.
Yeah, no, exactly.
If the time isn't there.
But the small stream that runs through Sandringham and runs from Eladar to Sandringham is not big enough for the boat, by the way, in case you were wondering. so you cannot bring said boat over there. I mean, I'm just pointing out as well, you can step like a little tiny bit out of town and then send your messages and then decide where you're going.
Right.
But I think we'll line those plans up for next week, so that you can sort of plan, well, the week after next actually, so you can sort of plan your actions in advance and prep. And I think actually that's where we're going to call it. I did say we'd end a little early today. Now that we have a series of plans, I will prepare some handouts so you don't get a wall of information just thrown at you. In advance, but before that, we come to the timeless tradition of MVPs. I will start where I finish, and I believe that was with Rico. Rico, MVP.
I really liked Rosannia attempting to drop the little seed pod in the Duke and Duchess's
that 14 was
chamber.
really unfortunate.
And then even that sort of interaction between the mass mage and he was just like, life is a precious thing to like lose or something. Like good moment, good thinking
I'm glad you
on
liked that.
this part as well.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, that it was meant to hit that line. I love that. It's I'll talk about the reference in a second. Actually, that's what I was referencing.
Okay.
In case anybody else has any further comment on it. Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think even though it's frustrating, it's meant to be frustrating, and it's accurately done or well done. Just the replacement of like, it's not like a reveal, right? It's not like, oh no, Felon was good all along or something. It's like everybody's bad. It's just the replacement of like one kind of bad or a new kind of bad. You're like, oh, we're more powerful and we can come back and deal with this thing before, but that's not really the problem anymore. It's exactly what you're supposed to do, even though it's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, as stated before, the world obviously moves on without you, right?
Exactly.
That's the aim with the threads, and I'm hoping that there are still enough of the threads that you were interested in to keep you interested, while at the same time being new threads. That's the aim, at least. Bruno.
I think my favorite moment was at the beginning when we were with the Devil Lagon twins and Hennick unleashed his little string of insults. I just loved listening to the clapbacks that Hennick was giving back.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I loved the inexperienced comment. That was great. That was really good. Josh.
So like with a lot of villains, like in media and stuff, a lot of recent times they have like tragic backstories and stuff, and I don't know if the twins do or don't, but I really like evil characters that are evil just for the sake of being evil, and you like played it like that, so I find it very entertaining, like having them just be menacing.
They do seem to delight in it.
So that's mine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys experienced this in Academy of Shar, and maybe I need to send our Beldania players who haven't experienced it to see some of Academy of Shar, because there is a little backstory reveal for Matthias and Evandria and Aegon. They were just sort of the class bullies. That's how they started off. They were just evil back then. They were like 11 years old, and they were assholes. They were really mean. I had so much fun playing them as the mean twins. They are basically based a little bit off like Mean Girls, that sort of thing. It's where it stems from, the original. Just they're not very nice people. Jamal.
I'm gonna have to go with finally getting to understand what it was with Felon and the full extent of what he did. I mean, we had suspicions, but now it's just 100% confirmed as to what
if
he
only
did.
you knew all the things he'd done. Such a nasty piece of work.
Well, to us specifically.
Yes, I mean, but you heard a little bit about his macabre experiments, right? And the unusual druidic magics. I guess I didn't. Well, I think that's okay.
And the fact that it's 100% confirmation that he was behind the bracelets as well.
Yes, you definitely got that.
We weren't 100% on it.
Yeah, and if you really want, you can ask some questions about how that was done. That would be exciting. You could do it yourselves. I really liked today's unraveling. You guys are astute and on point today. Like, obviously, I'm not going to tell you what you got right and what you got wrong. But one example was Joe with the time movement for the king and queen, the time spinning and relating it back to that. You guys are beginning to draw lines between various different events, beginning to realize that most things are interconnected in some way or another. And that's really pleasing to see, like, drawing lines and just some really, like, absolutely correct guesses today. It's also a couple of really wrong ones, and obviously you'll have to find out which ones are which. But that's really pleasing for DM to see that I've left enough breadcrumbs for you to be able to find the trail, and at the same time enough breadcrumbs in the wrong places for you to go in the wrong directions. So I'm really enjoying that. I loved Henek's interaction with the Matthias specifically, but I also just a small moment for where Josh went. He said he'd talk to me later. Time's a ticking sort of moment. It was really good. I really enjoyed that. It was very silly. And just Bruno displaying the full power of your characters at this level. Like, if there is something wrong with this person, I can fucking cure it. And I had very pleased with myself, found something that really did have a stipulation that made you have access to a 9th level spell. Because I was just like, these guys are just brought with power, right? And the idea is you don't want to be able to just take a building block and pull it out of the story, right? Because although it would feel great as a character, you want the story to still be mysterious and there to be plenty to explore. So I'm glad that, yeah, but it was such a demonstration of Rosania's sheer power at her beck and call, right? And you're all at that moment, and I think that's really cool. And it's about time we fought something. We need to go up in a direction where we're going to fight something. I'm looking forward to a fight. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to end. No levels. Originally there was a feat here, but it's too late now.
Come on, you know you want to.
I think you've all got it.
Give us both. Give us the
giving you
feat
a
and the level
I'm not
up.
giving you a level, and I don't think
Come
you-
on, please.
What's the feat anyway?
Pretty please.
Maybe everybody but Sebastian.
No.
I'm just curious what the feat is now.
Yeah,
I
I
won't say
can't
no.
remember what it was. Just know that there was a mark here for a feat. I'm just opening up my... Astute? Oh.
Mm,
What was it? I have it in my notes somewhere. But yeah, I don't think it's something that. So many notes. So many notes. This is tragic.
I can't wait to hit level 14 because then I get resistance to damage from spells.
That sounds quite strong.
Yeah, I know.
That is.
I also get advantage on saving throws against spells too. But that's a very like little thing.
Oh, there was an option here of potentially the astute or observant or keen mind feats, depending on how much you unraveled as you were here. But I have actually put a line through them, so I obviously changed my mind even back then.
And
but
changed it to a level instead?
No.
Oh my
Didn't you
god.
level up 2 weeks ago?
No, you've got the world's worst memory.
You definitely
We
leveled
leveled
up
up,
when you
like,
did like the...
Several in-game months ago, we leveled up.
No, it was one of the Way of the Paths not that long ago.
Yeah, it's been a little while in real life, but like we haven't done that much.
No, we had a few sessions
character.
off, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, there's no session next week, but we do look forward to seeing you the week after. But in the meantime, if you guys would like to say goodbye,
Goodbye.
Bye.
we shall see you soon.